Greetings, beloved Magdalenes, beloved Roses. It is I, Mary Magdalene, who come to you this day in this Ascended Masters broadcast. And as I come to you, I bring you greetings from those of us who are often referred to as the first family. We are referred to in this way as we are the first upon your earth to gain our freedom in the ascension since the time beloved Jesus was on the earth. The first family includes, of course, beloved Jesus, Mother Mary, Grandmother Anna, myself, and of course, beloved Joseph, who remained in service in your world, his lives culminating in his last embodiment as William Shakespeare, where at the end of that embodiment, he was raised to his ascension and is now known to you as the beloved Master Saint Germain. We are all gathered together here in my home in the fifth dimension as I use the universal radio wave to transmit my words, my love, and I wish you to know that the entire first family, as they gather with me, seek to offer their love, their light rays, their radiance to each of you. So if you would just take a deep breath with me now and open your feeling side of life to receive an outpouring of love, of light from the Ascended First Family, and know in your heart that we truly will respond. I am so grateful to Mother Akasha, where in her Tree of Life class, over the years she has helped you to understand, perhaps more clearly, your multi-body system, how your mind, your body, and feelings all work together. I am grateful, too, to the Academy's master classes that open the way for many of the Ascended Host to come and speak, to offer our gifts, and to explain the importance of your feeling body in receiving the many gifts of the Ascended Host into your life, into your feeling side of life, that you may generate those wonderful feelings and qualities into your lives and worlds. Thank you, beloved precious hearts, beloved students of life, for recognizing your own divinity, for turning your attention upwards to the next great realms of life where ascended and angelic beings live. For it is through the power of your attention, offering your own love, praise, and gratitude, that those of us who live in the ascended realms, the angelic realms, may come closer to each of you and offer you the divine assistance and help at this time. Understanding clearly the nature of your mind, your vision, and your feeling side of life is critical, dear hearts, not only to creating and manifesting a life you desire. These activities that make up your outer self, and in how you use your multi-body system, are so important in being able to increase and manipulate the light quotient that you are cultivating in your earthly embodiment. Important too, immeasurably increasing your vibrations, your frequencies, as high as you can. To be able to raise yourselves energetically, substantially above the frequencies of energy that manifest in the outer world, such as disease and limitation. Now, when precious Jesus came to the earth, there were many facets to the divine plan and the higher purpose of his life. And much of this has been deliberately omitted in the New Testament. However, there are other writings, such as the Nag Hammadi scrolls, and scrolls that are yet to be revealed, that offer much more information about Jesus and our lives, and the purpose of our lives. One of the critical facets of Jesus' life was to offer humankind a means to raise themselves up and out of the darkness, disease, and limitation that many experience in the world. This raising activity and all the means and ways to accomplish is known as the resurrection. I am grateful to Mother Akasha and her Tree of Life class that teaches the path of resurrection. Of course, it is not just Jesus' life, where much he taught has been hidden from the world. The same can be said of the life of his parents, and of course, my own life, in which much has been hidden deliberately from the world. I am aware that more recently there have been books, documentaries, and films, some fictional, some speculative, regarding the life of Mary Magdalene. And I am grateful that today there are more people in your world who are more aware of myself. Yet so much remains hidden regarding my life to the outer world. I am grateful that Mother Akasha's dispensation has allowed those of us who represent the first ascended family to come and speak to many precious students of life in your world, in her events. And I am grateful to Mother Akasha and beloved Jesus, who have approved that I could use some of the events of the Academy to come and speak and reveal more of the truth of who I am and what my life represents and offers. And so, in the few recent years that I have had the opportunity to speak at some of the Academy events, I have sought to reveal the most precious force that the feeling side of life, through the feeling body, can generate. That force being the Magdalene force, one of the most powerful forces in the universe. That force abides deep in the emotional body. And it is not until the emotional body is healed, is cleansed of discord and disharmony, does that Magdalene force begin to reveal itself. In fact, essential harmlessness in one's feeling body must be accomplished before any real Magdalene force can be experienced by an individual, until such time those individuals not only experience the Magdalene force, begin their training in how to use and project the Magdalene force. Indeed, there are many of us in the ascended realms who find a fancy in observing some of the films, the motion pictures in your world, and we are fascinated by such films such as Wonder Woman and the Star Wars series that reveal some kind of force that a hero has made active in their life. Of course, I, Mary Magdalene, prefer to know that the great force that a Jedi Knight uses, or that Wonder Woman or Superman uses, may eventually be truly revealed as the greatest power and force the human feeling side of life can generate. This force is part of the resurrection. For the Magdalene force to be realized, to be experienced, and to that place where one can begin to generate that force in their life, have come forth the teachings of the necessity of students of life to so heal and purify their feeling body. And many students have been taught that it is through the use of the sacred fire that beloved Saint Germain introduced to America in the previous century, that beloved violet purifying flame, and all the ways that one can call upon the angels of that violet purifying flame and to Saint Germain himself, to begin to purify and balance and harmonize the feeling side of life. For once, discordant vibrations are removed from the feeling body. Then, and only then, can the Magdalene force, long hidden in humanity's feeling body, begin to be experienced and even generated at will. Beloved hearts, let me be clear. The release and the use of the Magdalene force is only accomplished through the path of resurrection, where the purifying and harmonizing of one's mind and feelings must first be accomplished. And secondly, there are human habits that must be set aside if one really wishes to have open within their feeling side that Magdalene force, even to that moment where an individual can generate that Magdalene force when it is so required in the outer world. Until this harmonizing occurs, that force remains silent in everyone's body. I do feel it is time that each of you are able to complete the purifying and harmonizing of your feeling side of life, so that each of you can begin to call to I, Mary Magdalene, to all of us in the first family, to come and overlight you and assist you, to make contact, to experience the Magdalene force in your own beloved feelings. It is not only the purification and the harmonizing and the healing of one's emotions. It is also the importance to recognize that there are certain human habits that when those habits are engaged, they simply register more shadows and more discord in your own feeling side of life. And the worst habit that does this is the habit of judging others and judging after the apparent side of life that exists in your world. Yet throughout the ages of time, peoples have been taught not to judge. Yet whether it was this request made by beloved Master Jesus or others, it seems to us that this is thought of as a most unreasonable request to be made of you. Yet, we understand why students of life must be taught the necessity to break the habit of judging others. That students begin to realize in a much more intimate way the way that their minds, their attention, and their emotional body works, especially when individuals engage in judging others. And we see students fall into a trap of making judgments in what seems to be very popular at this time, in making judgments against world leaders. This is fine. Go ahead. Continue to do so, if you simply choose to be a part of mass consciousness. However, beloved precious hearts, if you should so choose to fully awaken, completely awaken, there must be a willingness to no longer engage in this habit. To all of you who seek the light, who have a destiny to be the light, I encourage you, find another way. That when you speak of people that at one time you have judged, or in your conversations with others, you end up judging some people out in the world, can you not simply say that you're not in alignment with that person, or that you do not agree with the policies and actions of that person? Can you not do that? Instead of placing a judgment against another person that often has hateful rhetoric and name calling? If you are to fully awaken, not partially, if you are to experience all of your God divinity, instead of just a spiritual tingling once in a while, I ask you to consider that this is a more reasonable request that has been made upon you for your own freedom, that you may yet realize. For the truth is that whatever is going on in your minds, in your sight, in your words, in your feelings, and especially when you are casting a judgment against another, it is impossible not to register that judgment against another in your own emotional body. It is the way you work. It's the way you were created. And if you are to think an ill thought or feeling towards another, that ill thought and feeling must register in your own emotional body. And then that judgment becomes a shadow, becomes a density of duality that you're going to have to eventually clear, remove. throughout the ages, the word has come, do not judge another. For there is reason to this. Ultimately, you are responsible for yourself. And I urge you to know the truth, that you cannot pass an ill judgment against another without the feeling of that judgment registering in your own emotional body. And all you are doing is creating more shadows in your own feeling that one day you're going to have to clear or heal. Ideally, your world is in such a time of change, and the consciousness and activity and the light of Christ is so required to overturn, to hold back devious and sinister plans that are ready to unfold in your world. And how are you going to hold back those sinister plans from touching you if you still spend time judging against a prime minister, judging against a president, because it seems to be the popular thing to do? Beloved, precious hearts, can you not just say that you don't agree with that person instead of offering unpleasant, ill feelings towards them? This time that your world is entering into, this time requires that each of you, no matter what is acting in another person, that each of you begin to practice holding a vision of the light of Christ in that person. If you do not start doing this for others, you will not completely succeed in raising the light of the Christ in yourself. You are one people. And I say to you, any student of life who is willing to discipline themselves a little more can call to me, Mary Magdalene, and ask me to help them accomplish essential harmlessness in their feeling side of life, not harmfulness. To be honest with yourself and to know that you generate harmfulness in your feeling side of life when you generate another. Yet for all the secrets of life, the majestic powers and assets of God to be revealed in each of you, there must be a willingness to disengage from some old human habits, and that's all they are, just old habits. And a willingness that, along with all the qualities of love, that essential harmlessness be the essence of your feeling side of life. And if you will make this determination, and you will call to me to help you, then I can begin to help you once we have cleared and purified and healed your feelings, to begin to experience your own Magdalene force and how to generate it. It has been a few years now that I have had the opportunity to discourse many times at different kinds of events of the Academy. And soon the Academy will chronicle all the recordings of my discourses into one place and offer them to you, so that if you like, you will have a concentrated collection of my discourses, my words, my guidance to assist you in your lives. And you will see that once you have the full chronicle of my discourses of Mary Magdalene, all presented in one collection, you will see from the very first to the very last discourse I gave, when you have them all weaved together, you will see how much was provided. And you will see how each discourse has always offered to all of you the means to make contact, to experience, and eventually how to generate the most wonderful force in the universe. The initial experiences of the Magdalene force are often felt as a renewed sense of determination, drive, and resolve. And how wonderful that will help you in your life. Remember how often the words of Jesus Christ, I am the resurrection and the life, and how you have been taught by Jesus and others the purpose of those words, and how you can use those words to lift and raise or generate any quality that you so desire. To use them as an affirmation until they become a conviction of purpose that is active in your life. And you could begin by calling to me in this way. Mary Magdalene, in the name of Jesus Christ, I am the resurrection and the life of peace, harmony, purity, and essential harmlessness, acting in my feeling side of life. I am the resurrection and the life of a renewed sense of determination, drive, and resolve, now acting and manifest in my life. Let's affirm that again. Mary Magdalene, in the name of the ascended Jesus Christ, I am the resurrection and the life of peace, harmony, purity, and essential harmlessness, acting in my feeling side of life. I am the resurrection and the life of a renewed sense of determination, drive, and resolve, now acting and manifest in my life. And so it is, and so be it. Oh, beloved, precious hearts, if you could just memorize those two wonderful affirmations and take them in, sometimes just internalize them, other times speak them out. I do not have to wonder what would happen in your life if 10 to 20 times a day you affirm these two resurrection statements, inwardly and outwardly, every day, 10 to 20 times. I do not have to wonder the kind of changes, lovely changes, you would experience in your life within a few short months. If you will call to me and affirm these two mighty statements of resurrection and tell yourself, this is your truth, then I will come and I will pour my Magdalene force into the feeling side of each of you to help you achieve that peace, harmony, purity, and essential harmlessness. To help you experience a renewed sense of determination, drive, and resolve, acting and manifest in your life. And as you do this, you are just beginning to taste the Magdalene force. Now, regarding the current storm that is in your world, and Mother Akasha and other masters suggest that there are more to come, perhaps even 5. Mother has asked me to emphasize that she is not necessarily speaking of more viral storms. Rather, there are other kinds of storms that are coming, where the people, if they love freedom enough, will be compelled, hopefully compelled, to rise up and fight off the greater controls governments will try to force upon their lives. The good God people fighting for their God-given freedoms and more. Indeed, in these challenging times in your world, perhaps from a spiritual point of view, what an opportunity it is to so discipline yourselves, to so charge your feeling side of life with love and purity and harmony, that I can begin to more directly overlight each of you and help you to awaken the Magdalene force in your own feeling side of life. Once that happens, you must be given all the time to experience the Magdalene force, to observe the Magdalene force, and then to generate the Magdalene force. And I assure you that if we go back to those films, such as Wonder Woman, the Jedi Knights, and you observe the force that these heroes seem to be able to generate in their lives, this is what is coming to help the people of earth. You, beloved hearts, are coming. And God in each of you will raise you an untouchable presence in Christ. With a Magdalene force, each of you will be able to generate your world requires the Magdalene force. I am the Magdalene force. And if you wish to become closer to me, friends with me, if you are willing to look at any human habits that might be acting in yourself and pluck those out, and if you are willing to study and determine all steps that how you can harmonize yourself, now each of you can give birth now. Let your heart, let your soul that represents the mother's presence, birth essential harmlessness in your feelings. For this, beloved students of life, is the critical quality that is necessary to awaken, to experience, and to begin to generate the Magdalene force. It is coming. There will be those amongst the earth who will do so. And I say to you, why not you? Why not you, beloved heart? For whether it is the Illuminati or cabal or attempts to build a destructive one world government, none of those plans can survive the Magdalene force. There was a time where men in your world hated me, threw stones at me, and Master Jesus was watching at a distance. And he telepathically communicated with me. And he said, "Now, Mary." And I knew what he meant. And as those hateful men circled around me, picking up their stones, once they projected them towards me, I generated a Magdalene force, the Magdalene force. And it caught all those stones that were thrown at me, and it hurled those stones right back at them. The great awakening has become. Hold back any fear. Fear is the enemy of your mind. Find your power in God. And know for too long there are many God assets that have been hidden within each of you, waiting for a moment where there would be greater and enough harmony in yourselves. It is time to awaken the Magdalene force, to experience that force. And together, those of us ascended will come and stand with each of you, overlight you, and with the Magdalene force, we will wreck all the plans of the sinister force. I am Mary Magdalene. I am at your service. This weekend, this month, Mother Akasha begins a new weekend series, The Great Awakening. Much shall be revealed, including how each of you can use infinity symbols to stop and offset the current storm and the plans of the sinister force. And as I leave, I would also urge more of you to participate in the Academy planetary teleconferences. They are free to participate. I encourage you to step up and join with other students and Excalibur Messenger number 2 to bring forth greater intervention that your planet requires at this time. You will find in the Academy website how you can participate freely in the teleconference and make a difference. I understand the next live teleconference will be held on June 2nd at 6 p.m. Vancouver time. Last, I will say, in the planetary teleconference, you engage with your messenger and each other in issuing mighty decrees in your own homes. Many of you have your decree books, and you take time in your life for 10, 15 minutes once or twice a day, and you speak to the angelic host, to the ascended host, and you decree to us for greater intervention in your life. How quickly your world could be cleaned up if all of humanity were decreeing for intervention. Yet the truth is that at this hour, all of humanity does not know or accept the existence of the ascended host. So for those of you in the various spiritual groups around the world, as you give loving recognition to your ascended family, your angelic host, and as you take time to decree that we come and intervene in your lives, I urge you to realize that you, awakened, who communicate with us through the ancient art of decrees, that when you finish your decrees, that you will request that all that you have decreed be amplified 999 times 999 billion times. That you command that all that you have decreed to your ascended and angelic host, that your decrees be amplified 999 times 999 billion times. This to make up for all those who do not know or accept the ascended host. This will provide us to multiply the will behind your decrees. And here we can offer greater intervention. I am grateful for this time that I have had with you. Grateful for your willingness to hear what I chose to share this day. Adonai, 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 dear friends of the light.